Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today we are starting a new topic that is on page number 88, and this topic is about Surds. So we will start the topic from the definition. This is on page number 88. We have the textbooks. I would like that you should read on page number 88 from the textbook, and it's important one because this is exercise 4.3 which we are going to solve. Uh, so I would recommend that please keep on reading from page number 88, and I would explain from the definition uh, about the definition of Surds. So why is it I can tell you that I hope that you can see the page 88. I am sharing the screen with you. If you have any problem in viewing this page, kindly chat me or unmute your mic, and then you can ask me. So we are beginning with it. Uh, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. On page number 88, the definition of Surd. Basically, this is a combination of two words that you should recall first. One is about irrational number, and the second one is about rational. Uh, so before going into the details, I will first write few lines on the page just to recall you about the two words, irrational number and rational number, though it is a topic of previous topic. Just wait for a moment. So I'm just going to let you know about the word or, so two students are entering into the classroom, so I'm giving them permission as well. I hope that you can see on this page. I want to tell you two words. One was about rational numbers, and rational numbers are all such numbers which are written in P over Q form, and where Q should not be zero, where Q should not be zero. All type of numbers like 1 by 2, 3, 3 by 5, these are the examples of the rational numbers. I also want to recall, this is about what I'm telling you. This is about rational numbers. First thing, to understand the definition of surd, we should keep it in mind that what is meant by the rational numbers. Secondly, uh, secondly, secondly, Wait for a second. So that you can see my screen. While I hope that you can see the screen, what I want to show you, that I'm writing something. If somebody can't see, please just chat me or unmute your mic and then tell me. Right? Okay. The next word is that is very familiar. That is about irrational numbers. And irrational numbers are the numbers which cannot be written in P over Q form. So this was just the introduction of the word rationals. And now I'm writing some examples. The numbers which cannot be written in P over Q form, such numbers are like under root 2, under root 3, under root 5. These are the numbers which are called irrational numbers because these numbers cannot be written in P over Q form. They cannot be written. So if you want to know or recall that why can't we call these numbers as irrational numbers, so you will have to go through the chapter number 2, in which you will be able to see. I'm just writing the examples here. One more word, because I'm going to explain you the word surd itself. So this is about an irrational radical with rational radicand. If I write some number, I'm going to explain you the word surd, then I will go to the definition on the Microsoft Word. First, I would write an example, then I would explain you the meaning of the surd. The surd says that we should have some radical sign. This is called the radical sign. If you remember, this is called a radical sign, right? And what is written in the radical sign? That number must be a rational number, right? It must be a rational number. What should I say? Well, straight away, right? Inside the radical, there should be a rational number, right? But when you solve this radical sign, the overall number or over the overall value of this radical, it must be an irrational number. It must be an irrational number. Better please listen what I am telling you or explaining you. Look, then I would explain you what is, and I am not going to explain any example right now. Just look at the definition, what I'm going to explain you. I hope that you can see on the page that I'm telling you. So wait for a moment. Please look at the page what I'm telling you. It's very, very important because it will become quite confusing for you if you are not understanding the concept first. So I'm telling you that the numbers which are in the form of radical, and this radical contains a rational number inside it, the number must be rational inside it. This is the first definition. And then when you evaluate the overall radical sign with this rational number, it should become an irrational number. It must become an irrational number. This is the requirement. Then you will say that it is a surd. Fine. So for example, if I quote a very simple example, a very short or very simple example. For example, let's suppose I would write any number, like suppose 7 under root. In 7 under root, you can see that 7 itself is a rational number because it can be written in P over Q form. It is a rational number. It is a rational number. One thing. And when you evaluate overall under root 7, it is an irrational number according to the definition I explained you above. So then you can see that actually under root 7 is a surd. So the point I want to clear that the number which is written in the radical sign, that must be a rational number. And then when you evaluate the overall of this expression, it must be an irrational number. Fine. So this is an example. Like if I quote 2 or 3 more examples, like for example, if I say, let's suppose 5, and I write here cube root, then 5 is itself rational number, and when you evaluate it with the surd sign, it will become an irrational number. So again it will be an irrational number, an irrational. It is a surd, it is a surd, because overall value of this expression is an irrational number. And what is inside it, it is a rational number. Now I would quote 2 examples quickly just to explain you that which are not surds, because you will be able to understand that which are not surds, not writing not a surd. And why not a surd, just let me explain you, then I will go to back to the definition on the textbook on page 88. The terms which are not surd, for example, if you remember that pi is first one, pi is an irrational number, keep it in your mind. Fine, it is an irrational number. If it is an irrational number and I just write pi and I place a radical sign over it, then according to definition, the number inside the radical must be a rational number. But because pi is an irrational number, when you will place a radical sign over it, it will not be a surd, not a surd, because this is not the definition of the surd. Surds contains that, says that it must contain an rational number inside it, but this number is irrational. That's why it is not a surd. Fine. One more example, then I will complete it. For example, under root 2 is irrational number. It is an irrational number. It was the first example, which is not an surd. It is a second example. Under root 2 is an irrational number. Under root 2 is an irrational number. So once you will apply another radical sign over it, now you can see that under root 2 is itself a irrational number, and you are placing it under it an other radical sign, another square root. So consequently the definition says that under the radical sign there must be a rational number, but because it is an irrational number, so when you will take its square root, it will not be a surd. So I have just explained you the 2 things, that whatever is inside the radical sign, it must be a rational number. If it is not a rational number, it is irrational number, then when you will place or take another radical sign over it, the overall expression will not be taken as a surd, because it will not generate an irrational number. So the debate is all about that what should be the rational numbers, where should be the rational numbers, and how we will use it. Now, if we will go directly towards the definition, which is written on the textbook, then you will see that this is, I'm showing you from the okay. No, this is on page number 88. Fine. Now I have explained you each part one by one on the pages. Now come back to the definition which is written. Now read with me an irrational radical. Now listen to me, that this word that is about, because this is about the definition. I hope that you can see the Microsoft Word page now. This is the definition. An irrational radical or an irrational radical, listen. Point is that when you will solve the radical, it must be an irrational number. Right? This is the first requirement. And irrational radical means then when you will solve the radical sign, the overall answer should be a radical sign with rational radicand. What is radicand? Radicand is a term which is placed, radicand is a term which is placed within the radical sign. So what should be inside, like if you see the definition or the example right here, that A should be what is inside the radical sign, it must be a rational number. As I just explained you earlier, that it must be a rational number. Fine. So A should be rational number. And when you evaluate overall n times under root A, its result should be irrational. This is an important point. Fine. Its result should be irrational number. So this is a definition which needs explanation. Now, accordingly, you can see that like under root 3, it is absurd because 3 is a rational number. But once you will operate under root 3, its answer will become uh, irrational. Similarly, 2 by 5 is in a fraction form, p over q form, so it is very much a rational number. So when you will take the square root sign again, it will become overall value, it will become an irrational number. Similarly, 10 and uh, 10 is a rational number, so its fourth root, it will become a surd. Now, as I explained you earlier, because under root pi is not a surd because pi is not a rational number, as I just explained you a moment back. Okay, right now I'm stopping for a moment and I would take your questions, or I want to I would like to reply you that whatever you want to ask. I have just explained you this one line definition with examples, and I have explained you also the terms which are not surds. So what I would recommend that please do ask the question that what the language should be English. Fine. So I'm stopping for a moment. Please ask your questions, then I would like to answer. Yes, boys, girls, students.
Sir, I want to ask that how is under root 2 an irrational expression?
The under root 2 is an irrational number because I told you earlier that this is a topic of chapter number 2 in which we learned about rationals and irrational numbers. Under root
But
2 or under root 3 generates non-terminating, non-recurring decimals. If you solve it on your
you said
calculator, you will see that under root 2 or under root 3, these are such type of numbers which cannot be written in p over q form. So all such numbers which are not square numbers are like 4, 16, 9. All such numbers are, when you will take their square root, answers will become this answers of the square of these now. Like 9 under root will generate 3, 16 under root will generate 4, 25 under root will become 5. But all these numbers which I am telling you, these are the rational numbers. All such numbers like 3, you can see this number is 3. The 3 is such a number which is not the square of any number. So when you will apply the square root over it, this under root 3, under root 5 will become irrational because these are such type of numbers which cannot be converted into rational numbers. So under root 2, under root 3, under root 5, under root 7, under root 11, under root 13, all such numbers of the family of numbers are irrational numbers. Okay, I hope that I answered the question. Yes, anybody else who want to ask about it?
Yes, sir. I wanted to ask that if we have a rational number under a radical, but the result is not irrational, so can it be called
No,
surd?
no, it will not be because there are just two conditions. You can see that number one, that number inside the radical sign, it must be a rational number, fine, and it is the first condition. But when you overall operate or just simplify the expression, because the exercise is all about numericals, you will see, and we will simplify these type of certs, and you will see that you will simplify these type of expression. Answer must be an irrational number. If it is not generating an irrational number, it is either way, it is becoming a rational number, so it will not be a surd. The surd's first condition is that you can see that I have highlighted in green that an irrational radical means that when you will simplify the radical sign, answer must be an irrational. If it is becoming rational radical, then obviously it will not be a surd. Surd must fulfill both of these conditions. If one of these conditions is not fulfilled, the expression will not be a surd. Yes, anybody else? students you want to ask anything about this definition? What was important, I have explained you very well in just about these two parts of the definition. Now I would move ahead and we will start the numerical side, that how to work with the Surds. So the definition right here is finished. We are going for the numericals. The procedure is very simple. First, let me show you that whatever is written in the similar terms, these are the examples which are on page number 88 and 89. How to simplify these type of expressions. These are the examples. I just want to tell you that the solution is very much similar to the we have done in the previous exercise. That was about, in some cases, either we convert a number into prime factors. So what we will do, that whatever is written within the radical signs, whatever is written in the radical signs, those numbers will be first converted into prime numbers. Now what are the prime numbers? So if you remember that prime numbers are such numbers which have two divisors only. So one is that the number must be a number should have two divisors, one and itself. Now if I just explain one example on the page for you, just to give you some idea that what will be our objectivity and how we will solve it, then we will be in a better position to understand the questions. First, we will go for the simple one. So I will take questions from the exercise which are quite simpler as compared to the examples. Then I will explain you a comparatively little harder example. Fine. So we are moving towards exercise. This is exercise 4.3. I hope everybody can see it's exercise 4.3. And the first number is that express each of the following surd in simplest form. The procedure will be very simple. I'm telling you that you can do it in two ways. First one is this. I would explain you on the page that what we have done with this number 180. Fine. So look on the page, then I will explain you. Uh, I'm giving you the idea that basically we are uh, converting, or we are writing. Wait for a second. I will share with you the page which I am writing. Wait for a second. I hope that you can see the page now. All of you should see what I'm going to write. Wait for a second. Wait for a second. Okay. So you can see that I have to explain you the number 180 and its radical sign. It is a question number 1 of exercise 4.3. What I'm going to do for your convenience, or if you just remember, that we have to convert the number into prime numbers. So you would write 180 on one side and you should go for the prime numbers. So what are the prime numbers? Don't forget, just for your convenience, prime numbers are numbers which are 2, 3, 5, 7, 11. These type of numbers, these are called prime numbers. Normally we use first 2, 3, 5 letters, 2, 3, 5, 7. These are the prime numbers. So what will you do? That you will start dividing. 2 90s are 180. 2 45s are 90. 3 15s are, and again 3 5s are 15, and finally 5 ones are. So what I have done, that I would write 180 as prime numbers, like 2 twos are, 3 threes are, and 5 like this one. And I will place a radical sign right over it. Now listen, because I am solving surd, Finally, you should understand that right now, keep the definition in your mind. This is 2 square, this is 3 square, this is 5, like this one. So when you will simplify, because these are being multiplied, so properative radicals say that you can split them apart, like 2 square and radical sign will be separately written, 3 square and radical sign will be separately written, under root 5 will be written like this one. And keep it in your mind that you can split this radical sign into 3 parts only if there is a multiplication sign between them. If there is a sum sign plus or minus, you can't split it into 2 parts or 3 parts, right? So next is 2 square and square root will cancel, you will get 2 only, you will get 3 only, and this is under root 5. 2 into 3 will become 6, this is under root 5. Now the question is that is it a surd or it is not a surd? Listen, 6 is a very much rational number, it can be written in P over Q form, but our under root 5 is irrational number. So listen, this is rational and this is irrational number. Now the question is that when you will multiply rationals with irrationals, your overall answer will be irrational. Keep it in your mind, right? So that's why whatever we have solved, it is no doubt it is a surd, right? So the procedure, we don't have to uh, convert each and every when we, because mostly the whole of this exercise is about numerical solutions, fine. So just to keep the concept in your mind, I have explained you at the end that overall this remains a surd, but rationals and irrational numbers, if overall, because somebody was asking that we simplify the expression and it is not a surd, so I'm just telling you or just explained you that I have split this 180 into prime numbers, because we convert the questions into prime numbers, because prime numbers are such numbers which cannot be further subdivided. So you will convert the expression as I have done it on the page first, that you will convert 180 into prime factors. You will divide them by the prime factors, and then you will write 180 as multiple of all of these numbers as I have done right here. And 2 square, 3 square, 5, you will simplify and you will split this. Because of the multiplication sign, you will split the radical sign into the product of 3 square roots, and then squares and square root will be cancelled. You will get 2, 3, and finally 6 times under root 5. So 6 is a rational number, under root 5 is an irrational number. Whenever we will multiply a rationals with irrational numbers, its answer is always an irrational number. So this is a surd. This is the procedure that I've explained you, that how we will simplify it. Now you have to keep these things in your mind, that we are going to solve same sort of things in the next questions as well. And what will be our prime objective, that we will break the numbers inside the radical numbers or inside the radical signs as multiples of prime factors. You can use your calculator, you can split it into parts, as you can see that I have explained you. And now I will explain you that how to, for the next question, I will share with you. You can see, I hope, this one. So if you look at the next question, which is right here, it is 180 that I have just explained you. It is second part. If you look at the second part, 162 is again converted into the prime factors. So my point is this, that we will work it in such a way that we will convert the expressions into prime factors, and then we will go for the simplifications. Right? So if I just highlight right here, you can see that all 162, this is 162, it is converted into multiples of prime numbers, multiples of prime numbers. So multiple of prime numbers. So 162, this is your choice now, because this is very easy now. 162 will be split into prime numbers. Like you can see that 162 is split into 2 into 3 into 3 into 3 into 3. When you will do with your own yourself with on your pages, it must be like this one. It cannot be anything other than these numbers, because these are the prime numbers. These are the such numbers which has split 162 into factors. So it cannot be further subdivided. So that's why you will write 3 raised to power 4, and this is under root 2, and this 3 which is outside, this is being multiplied. This is not the index. This is 3 times 162. This is not the cube root. So please keep it in your mind. It is a different, it is a question that you read the question in such a way that you can see the question below. That is the third part. 128 contains a sign that is 3 right outside the radical sign. It is a cube root, fine. And in part number 2 that I'm just explaining you, it contains 3 which is as multiple of 162 under root. So keep the difference clearly that this is 3 times 162. The number is written quite bigger. That's fine. But in case of cube root, this 3 will be in a smaller font and it will be written right in the arm of radical sign, like you can see that this time. So this is not 3 times 128. This is cube root of 128. And in the next step, you can see that this 128 is written in exponential form, like 1 over 3 is written in this form. So keep the difference in your mind that what is a cube root and what is 3 times of a number. Fine. So once you will do it, you can see that 3 raised to power 4's radical sign will generate 3 squares or 3, and 2 is only number because it is it doesn't have any pair, so it will be written as it is. So 2 under root will be as it is. So once again you will see that 3 times 3 will generate 27, which is a rational number, and under root 2 is an irrational number. Rational and irrational will be multiplied together. Overall answer will be again what I was telling you, that its answer will be very much a rational number, or that's why the answer will be actually, what should I say, it is a surd. Fine. So this is the solution of the second part that I've just explained. Okay, you want to ask the question from first two parts, then I will proceed ahead. I want that first I want to take question. Yes, students. Any question for question number 1, part number first, and part number second? Or even I can tell you about part number 3 as well. Yes, students, any question? Okay, if I move ahead to the third part, 128 cube root is written there. Fine. So what will be the requirement? I will explain you right here. And also I want to tell you that this meeting will be obviously finished in next 2 to 3 4 minutes. Then we will reconnect it. Fine. We will reconnect it, and then I will explain you the rest of the parts. So let me tell you, 128 cube root is simplified as multiples of prime numbers, like 2 times 2. I explained you earlier that how we will split 128 into multiples of prime factors. So this is 2, 2 times 2, like this one. And you can see that 2 raised to power 3, 2 raised to power 3, and 2. This is 2 raised to power altogether 7. But what we will do, because the exponent is 1 by 3, so we will convert the 2 raised to power 3, 2 raised to power 3 in the form of exponents, so that we can simplify 1 by 3 with these exponents. So if you will directly write 2 raised to power 7, so you will not be able to simplify it. We have to express the question, or we have to split the parts, split this 128 in such a way that we can solve it with the exponent 1 by 3. So it is only possible if you will write the exponent in multiples of 3. Like 2 raised to power 3 is a one pair, 2 raised to power 3 is the second part of the pair. So this 3 and this 3 can be worked out with power 1 by 3. As you can see that 3 times 1 by 3, both of these 3's will be cancelled, and you will generate only 2 from here and 2 from here. But this 2 or single term, which is 2 here, this 2 will be kept as exponent of 1 by 3. So it will be written as 2 cube root, like this one. So 2 cube root is basically an irrational number. So whatever is outside, you can see that this 2 into 2, 4 will be cancelled with this 4. You will get 3 times and cube root of 2. So because cube root of 2 is an irrational number and 3, it is a rational number, overall product will be again, as I told you earlier, that this will become this whole of this expression like this one. It will become again at the end of this part. It is a rational number, and it is very much a surd. So it is also the answer of this question. Okay, what I'm going to do that I will explain you another part, which is part number 4. It is much important, and it is comparatively important as compared to the previous two parts, because it contains alphabets X, Y, Z, and the simplification of the terms. Now, first I will orally explain you from this word file, then I would write few words on the pages to explain it further. The concept is again same. What is the concept? That the numbers like 96, like x is to power 6, y is to power 7, as you can see that this number is broken into multiples of prime numbers, like all these are the prime numbers. Then what is done, that 2 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times is 2, and you can see that there is a power is 5, or you can see that index is 5. This is called the index. So because index is 5, so what will you do, that you will prefer to keep the numbers in exponents of 5. Fine. So you will write 2 raised to power 5 and 1 by 5 as an exponent, so that we can simplify it. And then x raised to power 6, you can see that x raised to power 6, this will also be split into two values, x raised to power 5 and x raised to power 1. So again, I would say that this is slightly relevant to or similar to uh, exercise 2.4, in which we were working with these type of things. X raised to power 6 is broken into x raised to power 5 and x raised to power 1. Y raised to power 7 is broken into y raised to power 5 and y raised to power 2. You can see that right here. Similarly, z raised to power 8 is broken into powers. We want to keep one power as 5, right? Z raised to power 5 and z raised to power 3. So I would explain it on the page right here for you, because what I have done, I am just telling you that x raised to power 6, y raised to power 7, z raised to power 8, they're converted as exponent of 5s, whatever is possible, because 6 can be written as 5 plus 1, so x raised to power 5 and x raised to power 1 is split one time. Objective is very clear, because you can see that overall power is 1 by 5, so we can simplify only if we have the powers in 5, so that we can cancel those powers with this exponent 1 by 5. So for that purpose, you cannot write x raised to power 6 as it is, and otherwise you will not be able to solve it. And you can see that what we have done, that this 5, this y raised to power 5, this z raised to power 5, you can see that right here in this step, right here, x raised to power 5 and 1 by 5, y raised to power 5 and 1 by 5, z raised to power 5. The straight away this 5 and 5 will be cancelled. But for these parts like x raised to power 1, y raised to power 2, z raised to power 3, it will not be cancelled directly. So those terms will be written as it is. Like you can see that this one term x, you can see that this term x right here, this x, it will be written as x raised to power 1 by 5 as it is. So this you can see that right here. Y raised to power 2 times 1 by 5, 2 times 1 by 5 right here, 2 times 1 by 5. It will become y raised to power 2 over 5. So at the end you will see the answer will be y raised to power 2 over 5. And this z raised to power 3 will be multiplied by 1 by 5, so it will become z raised to power 3 over 5. So these three numbers 1, 2 and 3, which are not perfectly solved, rather in which we are keeping their exponents, like z raised to power 3 by 5, 2 by 5, 1 by 5, in all these numbers we will convert them. I would explain you this on the page in a moment. Yes, ask the question first, then I will solve accordingly for you. Please ask the question.
सर ये सेकंड स्टेप में 2 raised to the power 5 और
Yes.
3 के बीच में x
No, this is not x, this is multiple. This is 2 raised to power 5 multiply by 3. So either I have to show it somewhere. This is a sign of multiplication right here. This x raised to power 6 is written, then x raised to power 5 and x raised to power 1. This is not the x, sorry to say, but because there was no other way to write the cross sign. So 2 raised to power 5 multiply by 3. This is not the x. Is it clear now?
yes
Okay. Now I would explain you the last 2 or 3 steps so that you can easily understand it, because last 2 or 3 steps needs more explanation. So I would solve it for you on the page and I will show you. Wait for a moment. Okay. Last two steps, as I told you. If you keep it in your mind that what we were doing, that we have split 96 x raised to power 6 y raised to power 7 and z raised to power 8 into two parts. This contains a fifth root, right? It is that sort of one. And because we have already done it, 2 raised to power 5 times into 3, so I'm not placing a multiplication sign right here. And x raised to power 6 will be written as 5 times plus 1, and y raised to power 7 will be written as 5 plus 2, and z raised to power 8 will be written as 5 plus 3. And I will keep this all of these terms with exponents 1 by 5. Fine. So what we will do, the objective is very clear, that when whatever is the power 5, it will be solved with this exponent 1 by 5. Fine. So you will split it into two parts, 2 raised to power 5, 3 will be as it is because it cannot be broken further. X raised to power 5, x raised to power 1, y raised to power 5, y raised to power 1, z raised to power 3, and z raised to power 5, and again it is 1 by 5. So this is the maximum simplification what we can do, and then we will take this 1 by 5 over each term, like 2 raised to power 5 into 1 by 5, slightly doing directly one step. I will spread this 1 by 5 power to every term, all the terms which are inside the bracket. So 1 times 1 by 5, y raised to power 5, and 1 by 5. Similarly, 1 y raised to power 1 times 1 by 5. Remaining terms, z raised to power 3 times 1 by 5.
सर ये y raised to power 2 नहीं होगा?
Y raised to power 2 times, yes, it will be 2 times 1 by 5. Z raised to power 3 times 1 by 5, and z raised to power 5 times 1 by 5. Now what I have done, that I explained you earlier, that you will split this 1 by 5 to all of these terms, and then you will go for the cancellation of the exponents, like this will be cancelled and all these terms. So after the cancellation, you will straight away get 2, and because 5 and 5 will be cancelled, uh, then you will get 1x, because 5 will be cancelled. You will get 1y, because 5 and 1 by 5 will be cancelled, and 1z. These are the 3 or 4 such terms which are perfectly, which has cancelled their powers perfectly. So this is straight away 2xyz. Now what is left, that we have to write those numbers, like 3 raised to power 1 by 5. Only for this step which I'm going to explain you, I have done the question on the page, otherwise there was nothing wrong in the word, it was very clearly mentioned. Now you can see that this is 2 times, I would write it 2 times 1 by 5 should be written as like this, 1 by 5, and z raised to power 3 will be written as 1 by 5. So one is left, that is x raised to power 1 by 3, which I have not written, x raised to power 1 by 5, sorry. So you can see that these are the numbers, 4 numbers, which we cannot simplify it further. So what we will do, that you will write 2xy as it is, no change at all. But because of this 1 by 5, 1 by 5, 1 by 5, 1 by 5 as power in 4 of these numbers, I will do it like this one. I will keep numbers 3, y square, z raised to power 3, and x, and collectively I will take their power as 1 by 5. Fine. So in the next step, which will be the last one, 2xyz, and this will be written as 3xy square z raised to power 3, and I will keep it in the form of radical like this one. So this is how you will simplify the question. It is the answer. I hope that you will understand it. Yes, ask any question if you want to ask, then I will move to the next question.
Oh, sir.
Yes. Anyone want to ask the question? Yes, students, please ask. If there are no questions, so we are moving ahead. Uh, in this, we were right here. I have just explained you like these type of expressions. Now, similarly, if we move to question number 2, you will see that the prime objective is once again the same sort of thing, that you have to go for the cancellation, and you cannot go for the cancellation if you have not simplified the expression into prime numbers. Like 18 is once again written as 3 times 3 and then 2. These are the prime numbers. Under root 3 and under root 2 are already in the form of prime number, so it cannot be further split. So 18 is actually simplified. Once you will simplify it, you can see that 3 square and its radical will generate 3 on right here. 3 times 3 will become 3 square, and if there is a radical sign or under root sign, it will reduce this 3 square into only number 3. And 2 under root is alone. It's a single number which doesn't contain any pair, so it will be written as under root 2 as usual. So this under root 2 will be cancelled by this number under root. Now, one more thing which I have explained you, that though this is the answer which is written here, 3 times 3 over under root 3, this is the perfectly right. But in normal maths practices, we don't keep the numbers in such a way in which radical sign is in the denominator part. So just let me explain you this, what we have done right here. So this is a concept which needs to be cleared very well, that when you leave the question at the end, and if there is a radical sign, you can see that there is a radical sign in the denominator. This is under root 3. And to in normal maths practices, or when you are solving exercise 4.3 or 4.4, you don't have to keep a single radical number in the denominator. So how we can address it? It's very simple. You can rationalize, or you can multiply this under root 3 with this whole expression. One time you will multiply and one time you will divide yourself. Fine. And please do not cancel these numbers directly, because we have to remove the radical sign from denominator. That's why we have multiplied this factor or this fraction with under root 3, and we have divided it by under root 3. You will multiply and divide yourself by under root 3. What we have done right here, that multiply and divide it by under root 3. So for a moment. You just have to place it a radical sign. I'm getting a problem in writing it. I will show it on the page, the same step. I'll explain it quickly on the page. Wait for a second. So the point is that when you are getting a fraction, at the end of the question, this is 3 times divided by under root 3. So what will you do? That you have to remove this radical sign at the end of the question. So what will you do? That you will multiply with under root 3 and you will divide it by under root 3. So your denominators will become the square of same sort of numbers, under root 3 and its square. And this is 3 times under root 3, like this one, right? So 3 times under root 3, what will you see? The square root will be cancelled. What will you get? This is 3 times under root 3, and in denominator 3 and 3 square root will be cancelled. You will get 3 only. So 3 and 3 will be cancelled. You will only get under root. So what actually the question or the end of the question was 3 times under root 3. So we have simplified 3 times 3 divided by under root 3. So you will get the answer like this one. I also want to generalize it for you, because in other many questions you will see that if you will get a number A, right, which contains a similar sort of number, identical number but with radical sign like this one, its answer will always be under root A form. Fine, as I have solved for you under root 3. In very similar way, any number which is written like in this form, A times under root A, it will be simplified as A times under root. I have written the examples already for you. I have solved the whole part or the whole example for you just to give you the explanation that why we are doing it like this one. Okay. I hope that you will understand this explanation, because we will use it many other parts. Okay, for that moment, I will stop the lecture due to some reason, and I want to share with you some information about your few upcoming tests. Uh, I hope that you will be listening me carefully. Just want to tell you 2 or 3 instructions about your upcoming online tests. The upcoming online test, for that purpose, I will upload the syllabus for your online exams, and I will not give you the exact date right now, but what I will like to do that I will upload the test topics, fine, and I will let you know about the I will let you know about the dates and the times later on. Obviously, it will be after Eid holidays, uh, and Eid holidays may be expected from next week onward, or after 2 or 3 days. Obviously, we will stop the online classes for this session, and then we will go for the tests only, fine, and I will upload the test for all your 8 subjects, right, and then we will have your online assessments. Obviously those will be marked as well, and we will timely inform you about the dates and the times. So I'm very clear about it, because I'm listening every day about your conversations on WhatsApp, on chats, and sometimes this is very disturbing for me, because you people raise such type of questions which are totally irrelevant. I can't answer all of you at the same time, so that's why my recommendation is that. So please prepare whatever you have done, and I will upload the test topics for you. I will reduce a little bit whatever we have done for all of your sciences, starting from math, physics, chemistry, bio, and computer studies, obviously, English, Urdu, Bach studies, and Islam. So we will go for the online testing, because as scheduled, the government has announced that schools will not be open from the 1st of June. So please understand the sensitivity of the matter in such a way that we cannot waste time in either way. Fine. We have the end time again for the next year in 2021, that will be of March, and we also want to, because if we were expecting that if this 1.5 month will be uh, by using the online classes, if we will be moving for the exactly into the school from the 1st June, then obviously things will become comparatively smooth. But because this has now been announced that schools cannot be opened till the 15th of July, and we don't know that either this pandemic either God bless, that either should be stopped somewhere. Otherwise, we cannot keep on waiting for that purpose. And obviously, your classes will be rescheduled. More number of classes will be online on daily basis. And this, because at least you people have become used to of learning through the online classes. Because you are taking 2 classes due to Ramzan, and obviously after the Ramzan, the timetable will be rescheduled. There will be more online classes, maybe 4, maybe 5 per day, and plus the most important thing which I am telling all of you, that you can communicate, and I will put it in the WhatsApp group as well, that we are very seriously planning your online test, and we are putting even the syllabus on the Google Classroom and in your WhatsApp group. Fine. So for the time being, I will conclude my lesson right here. I will not I don't know that why this is continuing a Zoom class, because it was supposed to be disconnected then. Fine. So thank you very much for today. Inshallah, we will connect tomorrow. Miss Aruj is not here. She is not here, and she told me that she will take the classes uh, next week. So I don't know what will be the schedule in the next week, but my request is that you have to practice all these questions. You have to learn whatever you are learning little by little, like two classes per day, either by a video lecture or by uh, uh, what should I say, uh, online classes. In both the ways, you are getting some information. Fine. So whatever you have done, so please do the practice for all of your subjects. Fine, and please understand the sensitivity. You cannot waste your time. You cannot become so lethargic and lazy that instead of working for 8 hours per day, for 10 hours per day, please keep it in your mind that when you were in the school, for 5 to 6 hours you were in the school, and then at the later part of your day you people spent further 3 to 4 hours, and only then you were able to complete the schoolwork, classwork, and the homework and the tests were going on. So please, my suggestion is that please make up your mind, and for your understanding what I am telling you, that we will upload the test topics, and we will upload the dates as well, but not exactly on the same day when I will upload the test topics. I will upload the test topics later on after a few days, and then you will obviously I'm telling you the test will be right after the Eid holidays, and Eid holidays will be start within 2 or 3 days. That will also be updated soon, because the things are changing so quickly, because government is making different type of announcements. Either on they were saying because we are quite confused about the board exams, because we were very much relevant to the students who have just appeared in the 6 papers, and 3 papers, and the 6 papers were left for class 9, which are your seniors. So I have to decide for classes them as well. So that's why I have explained you, updated you. So please keep on doing, keep on learning, and then we will be in a better position to conversate with. Thank you very much, all the students. Please, I will upload this message, or I will upload this uh, video lecture on YouTube as well. So please, thank you till then.